Our next topic is block diagram reduction techniques. So with the help of block diagram reduction or block diagram, we can calculate the transfer function. Here we are given the input r of t, its Laplace transform is r of s. We are getting the output c of t, its Laplace transform is c of s. The system Laplace transform is g of s. When you are representing the system in shorthand pictorial representation, then it is known as block diagram. The system can be represented in terms of shorthand pictorial representation. It is named as block diagram. In case of block diagram reduction techniques, if two or more systems connected in series, here G1, G2, G3, all are connected in series. Then we are multiplying the gain of the system. When three systems are G1, G2, G3 or n number of systems are connected in series, then we are multiplying the gains of the system and adding the errors of the systems. Suppose if the system 1 having error 1, the second system having error 2, the third system having error 2. The total error will be summation of its error. The total gain of the system is product of gains of individual systems. Next, if the blocks are connected in parallel, during this case we are adding gains of the system depending upon it is connected to the output terminal. Here the G1 system is connected with positive sign, G2 is connected with negative sign, G3 is connected with positive sign. Then it is G1 minus G2 plus G3, G1 plus G3 minus G2. Depending upon the system gains connected to the output, we can make addition G1 minus G2 plus G3. The error will be calculated. Whatever the systems connected in additive manner, it is E1 E3 divided by subtractive manner divide chesta. E1 E3 divided by E2. Here mainly we need to focus system gains. When the system are connected in series, we need to multiply. When the systems are connected in parallel, we need to make addition. One more technique in order to reduce the block diagram. In case of block diagram, when you are shifting the takeoff point from back side of the block to the in front of block, we are getting the simplified calculation like this. If you are seeing this one, here the B of s is equal to R of s into G of s. Here it is equal to only R of s. If you are shifting the takeoff point from A to B, then also we need to get the C of s value. Here C of s is equal to R of s into G of s. During this case also, G of s equal to R of s into its product, G of s. Now R of s is equal to, we are multiplying R of s into G of s and again multiplying with 1 by G of s. We are getting 1 by s. When you are shifting the takeoff point from A to B, here we are adding one block with inverse gain 1 by G of s. Similarly, if you are shifting the takeoff point from B to A, here we need to add gain block with G of s magnitude. G of s magnitude. Similarly, if you are shifting the summing point from A to B, we are getting, this is the simplified version. Here finally our aim is there is no change in its output from the input. Even if you are shifting the takeoff point from the A to B or B to A, otherwise when you are shifting the summing point from A to B or B to A, there is no changes in its output. There is no changes in its output. These are the main block diagram reduction techniques. Now we can see some problems. Here, calculate the transfer function of this block diagram. It is equal to C divided by R. Transfer function is nothing but output divided by input. If you are seeing this 1 and 2 gain blocks, these two having, first of all see these 2 and 3 are connected in parallel. That's why it is 2 plus 3. After that it having negative feedback with gain 5. When you are adding these two blocks 2 plus 3 we are getting 5. After that, where forward path gain is 1 and feedback path gain is 5. When you are simplifying this one, G divided by 1 plus GH, the resulting one is in series with the block 4. It is multiplication of this one. When the blocks are in series, we are multiplying. When the blocks are in parallel, we are adding its gains. Here initially the blocks are 2 and 4, 2 and 3 are in series, in parallel, that's why we are adding. The resultant is 5. The feedback path gain is 5 and feed forward path gain is 1. It is a closed loop control system. We are having G by 1 plus GH, its gain, its overall transfer function. This system is in series with the block 4. Then we are getting this one. After that, this entire system is in parallel with the gain 1. Here it is gain 1. That's why I am adding plus 1. Finally, we are getting the output is 5 by 3 times of its input. Or output divided by input is equal to 5 by 3. Similarly, if you are seeing this problem, here 3 and 1. It is a closed loop control system. That's why G divided by 1 plus GH. After that, the resultant is in series with the this 3 by 4 block. When you are having series blocks, we need to multiply. 3 by 4 into 2, we are getting 3 by 2. The resultant block 3 by 2 is having negative feedback with gain 2. Then again, G divided by 1 plus GH, we are getting its value is 3 by 2. The resultant one is in series with the block 1. When you are multiplying 1 into 3 by 8, we are getting the resultant is 3 by 8. This 3 by 8 block is having negative feedback with feedback path gain is 6. Again, G divided by 1 plus GH, 3 by 8 divided by 1 plus 3 by 8 into 6. We are getting the output is 3 by 26. In step by step, we are simplifying the each and every block and finally calculate the ratio between output to the input, C by R ratio. Here with the help of signal block diagram, we can calculate the transfer function. Block diagram is a fathand pictorial representation. Similarly, with the help of signal flow graph also, we can calculate the transfer function. The block diagram is a shorthand pictorial representation. The signal flow graph is a graphical representation of set of linear algebraic equation. Here it is a graphical representation of the system between input and output. Here we are representing in terms of linear algebraic equation. That is, if we are having the output y2 and we are having the input y1, it is 10y1 plus 3y3 plus 5 into y4. Means we are having only one output having three inputs. One is y1, one is y3, one is y4. Its gain is 10, it is 3, it is 5. Finally, we are having the output y2. y2 is equal to 10 times of y3 plus 3 times of y3 plus 5 times of y4. We are representing the relation between output and input in terms of linear algebraic equation, also represented in graphical manner. We are having some definitions. What is the node? Number of nodes is equal to number of system variables. Number of system variables. We are having the L1 inductor, L2 inductor, and C1 inductor and C2 inductor. Depending upon number of variables, voltage V1, I1, V2, I2, like this. Based upon the number of variables, we are having number of nodes. Next one is input node. Next one is input node. Here the input node means that node has only outgoing branches. The node having only outgoing branches. Here we can represent outgoing branches like this. We are having one forward path. We are having node 1, it is node 2, and node 3, and node 4 like this. If you are consider it is input node, it's only owing outgoing branches. If you are having some incoming branches like this, it does not consider as input node. Input node means that node has only outgoing branches. Here output node means the node has only incoming branches. If you consider node here, this node having only incoming branches, all are incoming branches. That is known as output node. Here what is the path? The line used to join two nodes. In order to join these two nodes, we are using one line. It is known as path. What is the forward path? The path join input and output nodes, but no nodes are repeated. We are moving from 1 to 5 like this, and if you are moving from 1 to 3, 4, 5, otherwise we can move from 1 to 3, 4, 5. In order to join the input and output, whatever the nodes we are supported, it is known as forward path. In that, no nodes are repeated. What is closed path or loop? A loop has start and end have some same node. If you are taking this one, the loop starts at node 3 and having path moving like this and ends here. This is one loop. Having same start node and end node. Suppose if the direction of this path is like this, here also we are having one loop. This is known as closed path or loop. Non-touching loops means when two loops having same common node. If you are seeing this problem, see here. Here we need to calculate the number of nodes and number of loops. Here this is node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4, node 5 and node 6. Number of nodes is equal to 6. Now we need to calculate the number of forward paths. Number of forward paths. Now tell me at least one forward path. It is forward path means it is the connection between input to output along with the nodes. Tell me at least one forward path. One, two, three, six, 4 and 5. We are moving from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 6. Finally, we are getting the output. It is one forward path. 1, 2, 3, 6. By joining the nodes, you can get one forward path. Next, when you are going from 1, 4, 5, 6, it is another forward path. Otherwise, when you are going from 1, 2, 5, 6, 1, 2, 5, 6. Otherwise, we can move from 1, 4, 3, 6. 1, 4, 3, 6. Is there any possible chances of remaining forward paths? Now tell me the loops. What are the loops? Here we are having one loop. It is starting node at 2 and ending node 2. It is 2, 3, 1 loop. Next 4 and 5 is one loop. Next, you can start here 5, 3, 2, again 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 5. We are having 3 loops. Among these 3 loops, which loops are non-touching loops? Which loops does not having common node? We are taking the loop 1 and loop 2. Here this is loop 1, this is loop 2. These two loops are indivisible from each other. It's having nodes 2, 3, 2 and it's having nodes 4, 5, 4. These two loops does not having any common node. Then we are having two non-touching loops L1 and L2. These two loops are non-touching to each other. Similarly, for this problem, calculate the how many non-touching loops. First of all, calculate the what are the loops. For the given problem, calculate the what are the loops. Tell me at least 1 or 2 loops. Hello. Hello. It is node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4, node 5 and okay, it's totally having 5 number of nodes. This is one loop. L1 is itself 5. L2 we have 3, 4, 3. 3, 4, 3. Next is 3 to 3. Next L4. L4 is 4 1 2 3 4. 4 1 2 3. Another one is we are moving 4 5 4. This is L4 L5 4 5 4. Then we can calculate the how many number of non-touching loops. Two non-touching loops. If you are taking the loop 1, it is having node is 5. L2 has 3 4 3 nodes. These two nodes are does not having any common node. Then two non-touching loops is L1 L2. Similarly L1 L3. Similarly L1 L4. Here the given two non-touching loops are 4 and also 4 5 4 is 2 3 2. L5 and L3. These two loops are also non-touching. The total number of non-touching loops are 4. L1 and L2 does not having any common node. L1 and L3 also does not having any common node. L1 and L4 also does not having any common node. We are taking the L5 and L3. These two loops are also does not having any closed loop. So what is the requirement to calculate the individual loops and two non-touching loops like L1 and L2, three non-touching loops L1, L2 and L3. Here the purpose of calculating these loops are in order to calculate the transfer function we are using the Mason's gain formula. This is the Mason's gain formula. It is equal to summation of k equal to 1 to n pk into delta k divided by delta, where k varies from 1 to n represents number of forward paths. N represents number of forward paths. Suppose if you are having two forward paths, then transfer function is P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 divided by delta. That is summation of k equal to 1 to n pk delta k divided by delta, where what is the pk or p1 p2? What is the values of pk means p1 or p2? p1 and p2. pk is the gain of kth forward path. If you are moving from input to the output, what is the product of these blocks gains? That is known as p1. It is the gain of kth forward path. Suppose if you are having forward path like this magnitude is 2, it is 3, it is 4, it is 5. The product of all these gains is known as P1. Similarly, we are having one more forward path is its gain is 6. 6 into 4 into 5. It is the gain of forward path. In order to move from input to the output in right manner, the product of 6, 4, 5 is gain of P2. Similarly, what is the delta 1, what is the delta 2 and what is the delta? Suppose when we are moving from input to the output, it touches the all the loops means its loop forward path gain delta k is equal to, generally we are calculating 1 minus sum of individual loop gains non-touching the kth forward path plus sum of two non-touching loop gains not touching the kth forward path. If you are moving from input to output, suppose you are having one loop. This is forward path 2. This is forward path 1. When you are using the forward path 2, This loop does not touches the forward path 2. For forward path 1, delta 1 is equal to 1 because it touches this loop, does not having any non-touching loop with respect to the forward path. But when you are taking this second forward path, this loop does not touches this second forward path. Then it is delta 2 is equal to 1 minus non-touching loop, individual non-touching loop L1 plus, suppose we are having more number of loops, does not touches the forward path, it is product of these two loops. Delta k equal to 1 minus sum of individual loop gain non-touching the kth forward path plus sum of two non-touching loop gain that not touching the kth forward path. Here up to now, you can calculate the delta 1, delta 2 like this. What is the delta? It is 1 minus summation of sum of individual loop gains plus sum of two non-touching loop and so on like this. Here we are using the kth forward path. Delta 1 means we are using the forward path, which of the loops does not touching the kth forward path. But delta is initially we are dealing with only whatever the loops we are having. If you have seen one problem, you can easily understand. So the transfer function formula is summation of k equal to 1 to n pk delta k divided by delta, where k represents number of forward paths. In this problem, how many number of forward paths? If you are seen from moving from input to the output, this is one forward path. The forward path gain is product of G1, G2, G3. It is P1. Next, second forward path is G4. P2 is equal to G4. P2 is equal to G4. Next, we need to calculate what is the delta 1, delta, delta. First of all, calculate the individual loop gains. It is the loop 1. It is minus G2H1. Minus G2H1. This is the loop 1. Next loop is minus G3H2. This minus G3H2. Here we are having only two loops, L1 and L2. Delta can be calculated. It is equal to 1 minus summation of individual loop gains plus summation of two non-touching loop gains minus summation of three non-touching loop gains like this. Delta can be calculated 1 minus summation of individual loop gains plus summation of two non-loop gains minus summation of three non-touching loop gains and so on. This is the calculation of delta procedure. Here the delta is 1 minus summation of two non-touching loop gains means minus G2H1 minus G3H2 is equal to L1 plus L2. L1 value is minus G2H1, L2 value is minus G3H2. Next, delta 1. We are moving from input to the output. We are having only two loops, loop 1 and loop 2. These two loops are touching to the kth forward path. That's why delta 1 is equal to 1. Next, delta 2. That we are moving from input to the output in this forward path. For the second forward path, this loop now touches the second forward path. Then delta 2 equal to 1 minus whatever the loop does not touch the second forward path, 1 minus L1. That is delta 2. Finally, transfer function equal to P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 divided by delta. When you are substituting those values, you are getting the function value. G1, G2, G3 plus G4 into 1 plus G2 H1 divided by 1 plus G2 H1 plus G3 H2. This is the transfer function of the signal flow graph. Try to solve this problem. How many number of forward paths? How many number of forward paths?
Two, sir.
Only two. So try to this node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4, node 5,
3,
and
sir.
node 6. 1 to 2, 3 to 6 is this one forward path. Next 1, 4, 5, 6. This is second forward path. We are moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is one more forward path. Next 1, 4, 3, 5, 6. 1, 4, 2, 3, 6. Totally we are having 4 forward paths. What is the loop gain for this 2, 3, 6 forward path? Its gain is G1. Next, what is the gain for 1, 4, 5, 6? Its gain is G2. What is the gain for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Its gain is G1 minus H2 and G2. And we are getting minus G1, G2, H. For the fourth forward path, getting the gain is minus G1, G2, H. The total number of forward paths is 4. How many number of loops we are having? How many number of if you are starting here, C1, H2, G2, H1. We are having only one loop in this problem. Its gain is G1, G2, H1, H2. Now the transfer function is P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 plus P3 delta 3 plus P4 delta 4 divided by delta. Know the value of P1. It is equal to 0. And what is the delta 1? For the forward path gain, we are having only one loop. It touches the path 1. That's why it is equal to G1 into 1 minus 0. Similarly, the second path G2. For the block G2 also, it touches the loop. That's why its value also 1. Similarly, P3, delta 3 value also 1 minus 0. For P4 also, we are having only one loop. It touches the fourth forward path. Again, it is 1 minus 0. Here we need to calculate the delta values. Delta equal to 1 minus summation of individual loop gains plus summation of 2 individual loop gains plus minus summation of 3 individual loop gains. We are having only one loop. That's why I am written the value 1 minus its individual loop gain value G1, G2, H1, H2. By simplifying this entire transfer function, we are getting the result. First of all, it is important to find the how many number of forward paths. After that, how many number of loops. upon these loops, how many number of individual loops and how many number of two non-touch loops and how many number of three non-touch, if possible. After that, we need to calculate the transfer function. Simple. Next, we are seeing this problem. It is something different. Given this problem like this, here to the input definition, node means it's only having outgoing branches. It's only having outgoing branches. Suppose if you are consider this R node as input, it's having input. Sorry, it's having only outgoing branches. Means this if you are consider R as input, it having the output incoming input as H1. That's why we could not consider this R as the input. That purpose I am consider one fictitious node or imaginary node X as the input with the gain 1. With the gain 1. Now we need to calculate the transfer function C by R. Calculate the transfer function with of C by X divided by R by X. This is one more advantage for this Morgan's gain formula. Then what is the purpose of this Morgan's gain formula is find out the ratio of any two nodes. Here generally we are calculating the transfer function means output divided by input. Otherwise we can find out the ratio of any two nodes. For the given signal flow graph, suppose if you need to calculate ratio between these two nodes ratio, also we can calculate ratio of these two nodes. This is the advantage of Morgan's gain formula. Now here you need to calculate the ratio between R and C. Then we can calculate C by X into R by X. By X into R by X. C by X divided by R by X. First of all, calculate the C by X. Here have two loops. L1 is H1 and L2 is H2. And having one forward path, P1 value is 1. Then it is P1 delta 1 divided by delta. It is C by X. P1 value is 1, delta 1. For this forward path, two loops are touching by 1 minus 0 by delta 1 minus summation of individual loops. It is H1, it is H2. 1 minus H1 minus H2. After that, summation of two individual loops. Two loops are individually. These two loops are indivisible to each other. That's why delta is 1 minus individual loop plus product of this individual loop, two non-touching loops, minus H1 minus H2 plus H1 H2. This is the value of delta. Next we need to calculate the R by X value. R by X. The forward path is 1. Forward path gain is 1. It does not touches the this loop L2. That's why 1 minus H2 divided by its delta value is same. 1 minus H1 minus H2 divided by H1 plus H2. When you take the ratio between these two, you get finally the function is 1 divided by 1 minus H2. Here we need to remember the input node means it's having only outgoing branches. But in our problem, if I consider the R as the input, it's having incoming value is H1. That purpose I am consider one imaginary node X with gain 1 calculating the ratio between these two nodes, p by x divided by r by x. Delta for any node is common. We are calculating delta for one signal flow graph. It is common for taking node at this point. We are taking node, some more node R2 also at this point, or output node C. It is common for entire signal flow graph. This is one more problem. With the help of Moss-Scaling formula, we can simply calculate this one, where all are forward paths only. We are not having any closed loop. This is forward path 1. This is forward path 2. This is forward path 3. This is forward path 4. Like this, having total all are forward paths. Then we can calculate the its transfer function. If you are seeing this problem, the conditions to have no effect on noise on output. The noise effect does not relate to its output. What is the condition? We calculate the transfer function with respect to the noise to the output equal to 0. Then we are getting the what is the conditions to have no effect on noise related to the output. Calculate the transfer function regarding output to its nature, its noise. Generally, we are calculating the transfer function output to its input C by R. But here he mentioned, in order to eliminate the noise effect on the output, what is the condition? Whenever we are calculating the ratio between this C by N and the transfer function equating to 0, we are getting the what is the conditions to eliminate the noise. C by N. Here we are having forward path 1, C2, and also we are having one more forward path, this one. P1 is equal to G2 and P2 is equal to GC, G1, G2. So the GC having negative sign, that's why we are appending minus GC, G1, G2. We are having only one loop, this one loop. That's why delta 1 is equal to 1, delta 2 equal to 1, because this loop is touches both the forward paths. Delta is equal to, sorry, we are having two loops. Okay. This is one loop, minus GC, G1. This one also one loop. We are having two loops, minus GC, G1 and minus G1, G2, H1. And equating this value transfer function to 0, we are getting the condition GC is equal to 1 by G1. When you are designing the GC value is equal to 1 by G1, we are not having any noise effect on its output. This is one more type of problem. This is R, this is C. You are having multiple inputs and multiple outputs. In order to calculate the C by R value, first of all consider this is R1 input. There is no input to the summation. Then we are getting C1 by R1. Corresponding output is C1. Suppose if we are consider the R2 input and we are getting the C1 output, it is C1 by R2. When you are having multiple input and multiple output, to calculate the transfer function, we need to make at a time one output and one input. individually calculating all the transfer function. After that, making addition of all the transfer function, we are getting final transfer function. It is 2z divided by 1 plus gh. 2z divided by 1 plus gh. Okay. This question asked in GATE 2020 for triple E. We are moving like this. It is G1. If we are moving like this, we are having the gain G2. We are having loops G1, H1. G1H, one more loop is L2 is G2H. They both are having negative sign. Forward path gain is P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 divided by delta. P1 is C1. For this forward path, L2 is not touches. When you are taking the forward path 1, the L2 loop also touching at this point. That's why delta 1 is 1 plus G1. P2 is G2 into delta 1 is 1 divided by 1 minus delta value is 1 minus summation of individual loop gains. It is minus G1 H plus G2 H. When you are simplifying, we are getting the output is G1 plus G2 divided by 1 plus H into G1 plus G2. This question asked in GATE 2020 for 2 marks. The number of forward paths is 2. Number of loops is 2. P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta divided by delta. By using this Mossel skin formula, we can calculate the transfer function. This question asked in the year 2050. GATE 2050. Here also, you need to consider one imaginary rod. Then you can calculate its transfer function. Or otherwise, you need to calculate the y of s divided by x2 of s when x1 of s equal to 0. When x1 of s equal to 0, we are not consider this incoming node. Then we can calculate x2 of s divided by y of s. This is one forward path G2 divided by, for this forward path we are having 2 loops. It is one loop minus G1 G2. It is one more forward path, one more loop. It is minus G1. G1 G2 plus G. This is the answer. G2 divided by 1 plus G1 into 1 plus G2. If you are practicing these problems, you can easily solve the signal flow graphs and block diagram techniques. This is also one more problem asked in ECE 2050. This question asked in GATE 2020 for Triple E department. When you are simplifying this signal flow graph, we are getting the transfer function. This transfer function equals to the which among these options. If you are simplifying each and every option, you can get the transfer function of this given problem. Next, if you are seeing this problem, here we can find the ratio of y6 by y1. Here y6 is approximately equal to y7. Output node y7 is equal to y6. Then it is nothing but output divided by input. Suppose if you need to calculate the ratio between two nodes, y4 divided by y3. y4 divided by y3. First of all, we need to calculate the y4 divided by y1. After that, we need to calculate the y3 divided by y1. Up to y4, how many number of forward paths? We are having only one forward path. For this forward path, this loop is not touches. Then g1, g2 into 1 plus h4 divided by up to y3. How many number of forward paths? We are having only one forward path, g1 into, for this forward path, you can see the how we are calculating the delta 2 for this forward path. If you are taking this forward path, this is P2 equal to G1. For this forward path, this loop not touches. Its gain is minus G3 H2. And also this loop also not touches, minus H4. These two loops are also individually not touches to each other. Then its product is G3 H2 H4. Then delta 2 is equal to 1 minus individual loops does not touches its forward path. Sum of individual loops does not touches its forward path. Here L3 H2 H4. 1 here both are having minus of minus, it is positive. 1 plus G3 H2 plus H4. After that plus sum of two non-touching loop gains. Sum of two non-touching loop gains. Here these two loops are not touching to each other. Then we are calculating the two non-touching loop gains is G3 H2 H4. If you are calculating the delta for this y4 by y1, this y3 by y1, both are same. It is equal to this value. We are calculating the delta for both the y4 by y1 and y3 by y1. For the given signal flow graph, delta value is same even if you are calculating the ratio between two nodes. That's why here delta both are cancelled. We are taking the just forward path, this numerator value P1 delta 1 divided by P2 delta 2. Ratio between this P1 delta 1 divided by P2 delta 2 value. It is the ratio of two nodes. Suppose if you need to draw the signal flow graph to the given electrical network. Here I am taking one electrical network. How can I draw the signal flow graph to the this given electrical network? Here having the current flowing in this node is I1. In this loop is I1. Here we have in the loop in this loop is I2. According to node analysis, we are getting I1 is V1 minus Vi divided by R1. V1 is equal to 1 by SC. 1 by SC. The current is entering. The current is leaving. 1 by SC into I1 minus I2, where I2 is equal to V1 minus V0 divided by R2. And V2 equal to V0 equal to SL into I2. SL into I2. These are the mathematical electrical nodal analysis and mesh analysis equations. In order to draw the signal flow graph for this given electrical network is, for each and every element in the, here we are having elements is nothing but resistive element, capacitive element, and inductive element. First input quantity is V1. For the series network, we need to write, for the series element, we need to write its reciprocal. For the parallel element, we need to write its impedance value. Here we need to consider admittance, here we need to consider only impedance. Vi is equal to 1 by R1 and it is minus 1 by R1. After the parameter is I1, V1, I1. After that, it is the voltage V1. It is next quantity is I2. Finally, we are having the output voltage V0. For the series element, we need to consider admittance. For the parallel element, we need to consider impedance. Each and every element having one forward path. After that, one feedback path. Here the R1 is 1 by R1. After that, it is feedback is minus 1 by R1. It is parallel element, that's why it is we need to consider only impedance. It's having feedback minus 1 by S. Except this last element, except this output element, each and every element in the electrical network having one forward path and one feedback path. If you consider this inductor, it's having only its feedback path SL. After that, we can calculate the transfer function for this given electrical network easily. After drawing the signal flow graph for the given electrical network, you can calculate the signal transfer function easily for the given electrical network. Okay, in order to draw the signal flow graph, first of all, identify the what are the elements and what are the variables. Here, first variable is input Vi. After that, current entering to the next node is I1. After that, voltage across capacitor. Next, current flowing in the series element is I2 and voltage across the output terminal or output element. The series element we need to consider admittance. For the parallel element, we need to consider impedance. The series element, whatever the elements before the output, it's having one forward path and one feedback path. The capacitor also having one forward path, one feedback path. R2 also having one forward path, one feedback path. The output element only having one only forward path. With the help of the signal flow graph, we can calculate the transfer function easily. Even if you are taking this graph, this is electrical network. Here also we are having two elements, R1 and L1. Input is V1, current is I1. Here voltage across the capacitor. Next, current flowing through the resistance element. Next, current flowing in the element I4 or voltage across the element V3. Like this, find out first of all find out the variables. V1, I1, V2, I3, V3, I5 and V0. Then for the series element we need to consider admittance. It is here they direct taken the admittance value, impedance value. After that they converted into admittance value. 1 by Z. 1 by Z1 minus 1 by Z1. 1 by SC minus 1 by SC. 1 by R2 minus 1 by R2. SL2 minus SL2. SC2 minus SC. The output element only having feedback path. Sorry, only forward path. It does not having any feedback path. This is all about signal flow graph to the electrical networks. This is one more topic, but it is not important for our gate exams. Mechanical systems. Then how can we replace the mechanical quantities? When you are having the linear motion, you are having mass, friction and spring element. Mass, damper element and spring element. When you are having the rotation element, it's having moment of inertia, damper element and spring. When you are having the linear motion, according to Newton's second law, the summation of forces is equal to its mass into acceleration. But when you are having the rotational motion, the summation of torques equal to J into alpha. We are replacing the mechanical quantities F equal to m into d square x by dt square plus m, so it is p or d into dx by dt plus kx, and j summation of torque equal to j into dc square dt by dt square plus d into d theta by dt plus k theta. When you are having the series RLC, by applying the KVL, we are having the input voltage P equal to VR plus VL plus VC. VR is nothing but I into R. VL is nothing but L into di by dt. VC is nothing but 1 by C integral I dt. In the place of I am written dq by dt. And simplifying that series RLC, we are getting V equal to L into d square q by dt square plus R into dq by dt plus q by C. Similarly, when you are taking a parallel RLC, applied current equal to V by R plus C into dV by dt plus 1 by F integral V dt. Their voltage is nothing but rate of change of flux linkage d phi by dt. When you are substituting that value in this equation, we are getting I equal to this one. Then we can replace the quantities d square by x dt square. It is equal to m. M is replaced with inductor. Similarly, M is replaced with capacitor. This is the analogous terms to the electrical to mechanical or mechanical to electrical quantities. By applying the series RLC, we are getting this voltage equation. For parallel RLC, we are getting the current equation. For the mechanical systems, all the components are connected in series. We are getting the total summation of force. What is the input force is equal to the force acting in the mass element, damper element, and spring element. This is the analogous systems for the mechanical system to electrical systems. In competitive exams, they are asking about what is the replacement of mass element with the help of its electrical element. When you are taking the force voltage analogy, this is force voltage analogy. We are using these quantities. We are using the force current analogy. We are using these quantities. According to force voltage analogy, mass can be replaced with inductor. We are using the force current analogy. We are using the mass with capacitor. Similarly, the damper element is replaced with, in both cases, resistor. The spring element can be replaced with its capacitance or inductance, depending upon force voltage analogy or force current analogy. It is similar to torque voltage analogy and torque current analogy.